What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday night. We're here for another episode of the Bay Ragni Show, and I'm here with my boy, my homie from back in the Philadelphia area, South Jersey. The one, well, I can't even say the one and only Mickey Ratt. We're going to talk about that in a second. But I got to tell you, tonight's show and all the shows we do here are brought to you by Bombers and Sleeves, and they are the lifestyle apparel brand, and they're dedicated to bringing you the war on self-doubt. This is for the bold, the fearless, and authentic souls who never back down, and they wear it all on their sleeves. Bomb your boundaries today. Go to bombersandsleeves.com, and they just dropped this past weekend a new line of killer freaking T-shirts. So go check them out, bombersandsleeves.com. So here he is, and I was going to say, I can't say he's the one and only because the other day I had a guest on, and he was the original guitar player from the band Mickey Ratt. But now I'm bringing you the person, Mickey Ratt, from As We Become Ghosts. Mickey, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Bay? How you feeling, man?
I'm doing good. All things considered, I'm doing fucking good.
How's the weather where you're at, brother?
Dude, you know what? I'm down here in Nashville, and it is beautiful. It was 81 degrees today, sun shining bright, and just loving life.
Yeah, it's been pretty sunny up here. It's been nice, so we're enjoying it as well, man. But yeah, the whole Mickey Ratt thing, man. It was funny because I watched that whole interview, man. It was a great freaking interview, by the way.
Thank you.
I mean, such great content. Chris was telling all sorts of great stories, man. You know what I mean? Like some really crazy stuff, you know, and it was like 5 degrees or 7 degrees to so-and-so, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Connect them with like this guy, connect to that guy. It was cool. And everyone always asked me about that whole Mickey Ratt thing, you know what I mean? And not even a lot of people knew that the band Ratt, you know, used to be called Mickey Ratt years before that. And my name does not have anything to do with that. And long story, but yeah, it has nothing to do with the band.
Yeah, it was funny. Like when I was putting the promo out last week for it, I was like, holy shit. Like, yeah. I'm wondering if Chris is going to say, wait a minute, like that dude's name's Mickey Ratt, and I played a Mickey Ratt. And
yeah, that was cool.
Cool stuff. So the funny thing is, and I remember this, you know, before we even talked or started talking, you know, we're like in similar circles through musical interest over time. And I've seen posts of yours on, you know, Facebook and in various music groups that we're in. And I was trying to remember when I was getting ready for the interview. I'm like, I know he played in a band back in the day, and I was trying to remember. And then you sent me and told me what it was. I'm like, okay, now I remember. And I looked it up, and I found the old promo shot. And I remember seeing that picture when it came out from the band Cheap Thrills years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, these dudes look so freaking badass. They look so cool. And the picture just looked like a party happening. And I wanted to be in that party.
Yeah, that was a real big party. It was good times back then, man. You know, the 80s were late 80s and early 90s, man, were a great time for rock and roll. You know,
they were.
And
now, were you hanging out in like the whole like Empire scene and?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Empire Rock Club, Galaxy. You know,
yeah.
We had you know, Cinderella and Kicks, and like lots of Heaven's Edge. Black Eyed Susan, lots of guys that came out of this area. Many more. I'm sure I'm, you know, just touching the surface, but yeah, it was a real cool time back then, man. We had like Bonnie's Rocks.
Yeah.
Tons and tons of like national acts. You know, it was really cool. I got a good story. Our first gig there and how we got so big so quick.
Okay. I'm dying to know. Come on.
All right. So anyways.
Wait. Oh, hey. Hey, cheers.
Cheers, my man. Cheers. Yeah, so we were in this band Cheap Thrills, right? And we were managed by Michael Marquardt and Albert Powell from RPM Studios.
Okay.
RPM Studios was on Delaware Avenue. It was like
I used to practice there. I used to love that place.
Right on. Okay. So yeah, Mike and Al were our managers basically. So Mike was like calling around, like trying to get us some gigs and stuff. So he calls up Bonnie, and we're all sitting in like the little snack store area where you can get guitar strings and hot dogs and stuff. And he has her on speakerphone, and he's like, yeah, my guys, you know, we're gonna be doing this like you know, thing. We're looking for Sunday nights were the night to play Bonnie's. Okay.
Yeah.
But Sunday night was all age plus drinkers, and they would like be in the cage in the drinker area. But back then, tons and tons of people would come out to shows, man, teenagers and stuff, you know? So we wanted a Sunday gig, but nobody ever heard of us. So Mike's talking to her, and she says, well, maybe I can give you a Thursday night opening spot. And she gives us a date. And I'm like all quiet, and we're all like, no, tell her. And he mutes the phone real quick, and I said, tell her that we're going to be in LA doing a slew of gigs for those 2 weeks, and we won't be available. So Mike tells her, my guys are unfortunately going to be away in LA doing a slew of gigs during that time period. She says, really? She's like, let me call you back. So she calls him back 15 minutes later, and she says, listen, I'll give you a headline spot, but it's going to be in 2 months from now because I'm pretty booked out. So anyways, we piqued her interest. She gave us a headline spot. And for the next 2 months, we got to go to the club and put up these gigantic color posters that say, in returning from LA, cheap thrills. And we weren't really, we were just kind of like white lying, you know what I mean? And everyone was seeing these, and they didn't know who we were or where we were from. And the place was just mobbed, man. And we had an instant following from that point forward. So,
dude, I love it. That's like out of the Evel Knievel school of self-promotion.
Look, it's all about optics, So
that's freaking awesome.
These days, man, with all the social media and stuff, like everybody's vying for the same audience, like what can you do? What can you say? What can you put out there that's going to pique somebody's interest?
Right.
And I'm not saying, you have to fib or anything, you know what I mean? But you do have to hone your craft, and you do have to know what new tactics to employ, and it's a hard market, man.
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like, so, it's so easy for so many people just to record amazing quality sounding albums, even if the quality of music's not there, but the quality of production and everything else might sound amazing, and everybody can do it now from the comfort of their own home.
Absolutely.
Everybody has social media, so everybody's at that even playing starting point. It's just a matter of how you can get to that next point, whether your music is good or bad. Like you said, what tactics can you bring to the front?
Right. Yeah, it's hard market, man.
It is. It really is. It's, I still like this. A prime example, like we were talking about Chris from Rough Cut the other night. Yep. A band like that, it makes you scratch your head. Back in the day, like they put out amazing music and albums, but they never broke really true to the other side.
He kept talking about just missing the boat.
Yeah.
And it's true, man. There was such great bands. Rough Cut was an amazing, amazing band. Mm-hmm. And I remember in your interview with him, you were talking about how you came to hear about them, and people saying you got to hear these guys. These guys are these guys are musicians. Their songs are rock, they're bluesy, and they were bringing, they were musicians. Mm-hmm. And sometimes just the way things go, or and I'm not saying this exactly happened to Rough Cut, but how tides change, you have King's X, who's an amazing band.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on that cusp of just stepping over that threshold, mm-hmm. being huge, but they were a musicians band. You know what I mean? Yeah. Musicians listen to them and go, oh my God, these guys are.
Yeah.
And just right at that point, man, kind of grunge just kind of came in and just rolled it right over, and it was just, they missed the boat, it's a shame. But yeah, man, yeah, Chris and Rough Cut, man, they were
awesome.
Still are kick ass. Hey,
absolutely.
I listened to your interview, and I went and listened to the new song.
It's ass. Like classic Rough Cut.
Yeah, kicks ass.
So you brought up grunge and stuff like that. So what happened to you at that point with Cheap Thrills? Did you keep doing music after Cheap Thrills? Did you get out of it? Because you are a tattoo artist now. You got into the tattoo business. So
the tattoos didn't happen till later in life. Back then, I'm 53 years old. I don't look 53. I don't feel 53, and I don't act 53. Well,
I thought you were younger than me.
Yeah, but well, thanks, man. That's a compliment. But no, man. so going way back when, drugs and alcohol and like all that kind of nonsense, like kind of killed what we could have been back then. We had a lot of like interest back then, and we were starting to go on some rides with with some companies, and talking about development deals and some stuff like that. And that was in '89.
Okay.
And everyone goes, when I tell that story, people are like, yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I said, let's not go patting each other on the back just yet. Because all that interest was lost the same year, like 7 months later. You know what I mean? We were rock stars playing rock stars. We were a very, very good band. We worked our asses off 5-6 days a week in our rehearsal studio, putting together a show and putting together songs that we felt were really good. And they were. But that kind of fell apart. And we kind of broke apart at that point. And I remember I went and joined up with a band. Me and the drummer, Scott Swyman, we went and joined up with a band out in Sea Isle City.
Okay.
And we were there for a while, and things were going pretty cool. And our old guitar player, Matt, from Cheap Thrills days, hit me up and said, hey, look, we're I'm recording 3 songs, and like, can you and Scott please come and do the bass and drums on it? And it was heavier, and it was much more like geared towards like the grunge stuff that was happening,
Mm-hmm.
There was like a little bit of funk influence, but like real heavy, like Chili Peppers meets Alice in Chains,
Okay.
and a lot of that kind of stuff was going on. And I think a lot of our problem back then is that we were trying to write for what we felt people wanted to hear. We were trying to like fit into what was going on. And the songs were really good. Things were really good, but I was really screwed up on drugs and alcohol back then, and I was a real mess. But we came back, we recorded the bass and drums, and I said, hey, man, you have anybody who's singing on it? And he said, no, I haven't really thought of anybody yet. And I said, let me give it a shot. He said, yeah, whatever, do it. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is like, I never really knew I could sing. I don't think I can really sing right now. Like,
I was going to say, did you ever even consider that before that?
No, I was a bass player back then. I wrote a lot, but no, but see, like, here's the funny thing. And I got a great story that goes way, way back about me being a singer, right? And I'll tell you that if you're interested. But so while I was down in Sea Isle City, do you remember the band Ugly Kid Joe? Do you remember
Of course,
yeah. I Hate Everything About You,
mm-hmm.
Right? They were like out on a beach and they were kicking around a love doll, mm-hmm. Right? Like this blow up love doll on the beach.
Right.
And I was down at Sea Isle City. We would go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we would just stay down there and we would rehearse, and then we would come home, me and Scott. And I had a dream one of those nights. I woke up, and this was like literally days before Matt hit me up and said, hey, can you guys come cut some tracks for me? And he says, and I said, yeah. Well, I had this dream that I was on the beach and I was singing the song. I was in the Ugly Kid Joe video, and singing the song. And I woke up and I was like, I think I can sing. So then I was like, yo, give me a shot at singing. And everything kind of went from there. And I started taking on a singer role, which back in the day, I could really mimic and imitate a lot of good voices, like, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, Smashing Pumpkins. I could imitate certain voices really well. And that goes back into what we were talking about. Like, I was trying to be what I felt people wanted to hear and what they wanted to be. I was trying to fit a mold,
Right.
And how, like, as we become ghosts today, how we write is like, I finally found my voice, and I searched for it for many, many years, man. And we have a really good producer, Derek Chafin from Barn Sound Studios. He's over in Newtown Square, and he's really, really pushing me. I go in there and I'm like trying to sing some stuff, and I'm like singing it all stylized. And he's like, okay, that's good. Go ahead. Take a couple takes with that real quick. Hey, let's try.
Get it out of your system.
And then he's like, starts really breaking me down and trying to get me to sing it in my voice. And it's been working out really, really well. We're very close to finishing up a 6-song EP that we're going to be releasing.
Nice.
And he's really helping me find my voice, And when I started the project As We Become Ghosts, I really wanted to make sure it was my voice, and it was the songs that I really felt in my soul, that I really loved. And if nobody else liked them, that's okay, you know. And if they did, that's great, you know. But I didn't want to write for what I felt would propel me to the top, you know. And by doing so, I think we've done ourselves justice in this project of writing what we've been writing. So
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. So, I know it started 2018, 2019 when you started working on this. Were you doing anything else musically at the time, or was this something you just started
no.
cooking up in your head?
Hey man, I'm gonna switch over glasses so you can see my eyeballs. Hey, that's better, man.
There you go.
No, I wasn't doing anything musically. On and off, I would, you know, goof around every once in a while. But no, I didn't do anything musically for a long time. And I just got a wild hair up my ass one day, and I just said, you know what, I want to write some songs, you know? And then it propelled into like, I want to write some songs, and I want to put together an album, you know, that's a really good album of really good songs that like will be here long after I'm gone. And if a couple people like them, man, and put it on their shelf and like listen to it every once in a while, that'd be awesome. And if it doesn't go any further than that, man, I'm okay with it, you know? I would like to be touring and doing all the stuff all the big boys are doing. And I hope we're going to get there. But, you know, we're playing a lot of shows now, but wasn't doing anything musically until that point. And it just, everything kind of spawned the idea for the name, the idea for the songs, the mission of the project, everything kind of came all at once. And I just started.
Was there anything or anybody or any even band that just like kind of gave you that kick in the ass of like, I want to do music again?
Yeah, there's a couple, but I'll mention one. My good boys, Kevin Mack and William Miller, Age of Truth. Have you heard of the?
Okay, yeah, I have.
Wow, man. And those guys are, you know, they're on a different plane than us, man. They're like, their genres like that stoner rock stuff, but you either do that good or you do that bad. And those guys do it great. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, I have a couple people that constantly send me over their stuff. They're like, you got to check them out. You got to check them out.
Yeah, they are great dudes, and they are workhorses. And when you go see them, you see where all the work went. You know what I mean? You see the product that they put out. It is absolutely amazing. Absolutely. And so there was some people like, you know, that I'd seen, and I was just like, wow, man, you know what? Like, I just have the desire to do this again, you know? And again, it was just about like, let me just record a couple songs and see if I can record an album. And, you know, it wasn't about really even fully putting a band together and going out and doing this all again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly cannonballed into quite a schedule that we have. So
I think too, like, I know even from my own past experiences playing in bands and stuff, like, and I say this to a lot of people, like, I think once you start like writing music, yeah, I can't see you not wanting to do that. Like, put a band together and play them fucking songs live. You want to get out there and share that music with people. And I don't care if it's 5 people or 500 people. You want to see and feel the reaction from the people you're playing to and get that feedback and that adrenaline going through you.
That was the best high I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, is being on that stage with a wall of sound behind you, mm-hmm, and a giant crowd in front of you, and you're just sandwiched in between that energy, man. And it was like the best freaking thing in the world, you know. And I'm going back, you know, to the Bonnie's and Empire Rock days and all that kind of stuff, where there was large crowds, great sound systems, and awesome lights, and, you know, a place that hosted original, you know, rock and roll music.
Right.
And yeah, the issue with that, man, is like the fear of putting that band together, right? Because anybody in a band knows about being in a band, you know, and there's always controversy and egos and attitudes and drama and all sorts of stuff, man. It's just, 24/7 trying to keep them 4 links tight and solid, man, and not falling apart, you know? And that's the strife with a band, right? And the other thing is you go out and try to put a band together, right? And you're like, especially a guy my age, right? So like I'm seeking out a bunch of players that I knew back in the day, right?
That's what I was just going to ask you that. Did you like have anybody like on the Rolodex in your phone where you're like, all right, I think I'm going to reach out to this one or that one from back in the day, see if they're into this?
Did, you know, that the Rolodex came first, you know what I mean? You and I know what a Rolodex is, you know?
Right.
Rolodex. But yeah, that came first, man. And I like exhausted that pretty quick. And, you know, everyone was like, yeah, you know, I got soccer practice with my kids on Saturday. And look, man, I got a kid. I understand all that. You know what I mean? I raised children and, you know, and a lot of people who are the really amazing players are all involved in like tribute bands or cover bands, and they're getting paid to play. Before the COVID hit, you know, these guys are like, you know, playing every week, and they're making like mass money and filling crowds at like the TLA.
Yeah,
you know,
it's crazy.
It's like 500 to 1,000 people to see a tribute band, you know. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of guys out there that do that really, really good. But I'm like, what about original rock and roll? Where did it? You know, where's the avenue for it? So trying to find players was slim pickings, man. Right. And here's the hard part. So I go out and I start, you know, doing all the footwork, and I'm going to all the clubs, and I'm trying to reach out to guys, and I'm reaching out to guitar players, bass players, drummers. And they're like, yeah, cool, man. So what's the project sound like? And I'm like, it's like rock and roll. They're like, cool. Do you have something I can hear? And I'm like, no, I don't. So I went home and I got to work, and that's where the project started. I played all the instruments myself besides the drum. I had to write the drums, but I did it with programs, and I played the bass, the guitar, the drums, vocals, did everything myself, and recorded 3 or 4 songs. And then I started fishing, you know, and what I did is I went to every musician on my Facebook. I went to their Facebook and I looked for every bass player that was on their friends list, and I friended every one of them. And as soon as I got a slew of them that like accepted my friend request, then I would send them in private messenger my 3-song demo, you know, say, hey, look for a bass player. And all of a sudden I got a lot of interest. And then I knew I had something at that point with the material, you know, lots of people were interested. So I started getting guys together, and Steve Kohler, his name is Stefan Gregor. He was our first bass player. He used to go by Steve Kohler, but Stefan Gregor is his birth name, and he decided to like start going back with that. And he actually just left our band recently, and he was very sad he had to, and we were very sad he had to as well. He's working with Michael Carasaro. I'm sorry, I got so many names in my head. And they have a band called G-Force, and they're doing some really, really good stuff. And be on the lookout for them. Mike's a killer guitar player, and Steve's a great bass player. And they have a really good project called G-Force. So Steve was with me the longest in the project. You know, we had another drummer who came along for a while, and it just wasn't really working out. A really good dude named Jason Donkerley. He owns a recording studio called Drowning Fish Studio over in Philadelphia. And he's doing some real good stuff with that. And I really feel he just really needed to put more time into his studio and stuff like that. But so he kind of got us moving along, and we're gonna credit him on the album for helping us with some of the arrangement stuff on a couple of songs that we've recorded since then. So he's a good dude. But so then along came Phil Wax, right?
Okay.
Actually, before Phil, let's just take it back to how Alex, our guitar player, got in the band. Alex is the baby. Alex is 26. And this is cool because in your interview the other night, you were talking about like Randy Rhoads and a couple other guys and just that style and everything, right? And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for somebody who played with feel, you know, not just how many notes can I fit in a solo and can I shred and can I do these certain scales and tricks and things. I want somebody who, when they play the guitar, you feel it, right? So I held out on a guitar player, and I held out and I held out. We're going into about 2.5 years, almost 3 years into this project, right?
Holy
Where
shit.
I decided, screw it, I'll just play all the guitar stuff myself. And like, I'm no lead guitar player, but the stuff I was playing was decent. It was good. It had feel, and people got what I was going for. But I knew it could be better, obviously. And so I'm at my tattoo shop one day, right? And this kid comes in, Alex Fizz, 25-year-old kid, and he says, "Hey, man, I'm looking to get a tattoo. My buddy Ian Murphy told me to come on over." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. So what do you want?" It's like, "I want black and gray skulls and all up and down my arm." And I'm like, "Bro, you've come to the right place, because that's what." Right. So I said, "Is there anything on your arm that I have to work around, or cover up?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "You got to work around this." And he pulls his sleeve up, and literally from his elbow to his shoulder, it's Randy Rhoads playing a Flying V. And I'm like, "Brother, are you a guitar player?" I don't even think we talked about his tattoo for the rest of the time, by the way. And his tattoo's still not finished till this day. But he said, "Yeah, I'm a guitar player." And I said, "Randy Rhoads is your guy?" And he said, "Oh," he goes, I can play any note of any album that he's ever played on." I said, "Really?" And I said, "Who else you like?" And he goes, "I've been listening to a lot of like Mick Mars guitar solos lately, because of The Dirt was just recently out." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now, dude?" I said, "I was just telling somebody, like, I love Mick Mars solos. I can remember every one of them."
I'll tell you what, Randy is my all-time favorite, but I'll say this. The guitar solo, and I say this every time I hear it, the guitar solo on Home Sweet Home, I don't think there was a more fitting and perfect guitar solo ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And the reason I'm smiling so big right now, this is my smile. The reason I'm smiling so big is we have a track that our engineer producer just sent over to me today. I did lead vocals on it the other day, and it's a piano song, hard rock ballady, but more raw.
Okay.
It's funny because we're like, right now we're trying to decide on the piano sound whether we wanted a little bit more like that teethy vibey kind of vibe of like the old Aerosmith, like Dream On and stuff like that, or we want this like November Rain. And we recorded a couple different pianos, and we're just like really torn because we love the old Aerosmith sound because it has some vibe to it, right? But could it be more grand, So we're in the, but the freaking guitar solo stuff in this will absolutely blow your mind. And when we went over to record the guitars, Alex does this solo, right? And to get that like pure Randy Rhoads sound, right, he likes to double track all this stuff. But anyways, engineer stepped outside of the room to grab some cables or do some stuff, and Alex is just playing along with this. And this is the first time he ever heard him play into the song. And he comes over to this large window, and he's just like looking in, like, "What?" And he comes in and he goes, "That freaking guitar solo sounded like a mix between freaking Slash, George Harrison, and Brian May." And he was like, "I am so freaking blown away right now." So he said, let's get right into it. Let's start recording it, right? So he starts recording it, and he goes to double track this lead, and he is so on to it. The double track just completely like deleted itself. Like it was so on that, when you're double tracking something, it just has that slight offness that gives it that chorusy effect.
Yeah.
Completely, like, I can't even think of the word. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? And the guy was so blown away, and I cannot wait for you to hear this. Like, so
I'm dying to hear this now. I'm so freaking intrigued by this.
These songs are coming soon. I'm going to send you personally where we're at with it now, just so you can kind of get a little.
I'm freaking chomping at the bit over here.
Oh man! But anyways, so Alex came along, right? So let me get back to that story real quick before I get too far off. And I said, let me play you a song real quick. So I throw in a song, on my phone, on my iPhone. We're sitting out at the counter, and he goes, "Cool." And I sent it to him, and literally like a day or two later, he sends me back this, the song with this freaking guitar solo in it. It's one of our songs called "Overcome." That's on Spotify right now, and it's the exact solo that's in the song right now. And I was just like, dude, you're in. You got the gig, man. You know what I mean? He was what I've been searching for all this time. And he's become a very, very intricate part of this project. You know, we speak to each other musically very well. I do with the other guys as well. It was about getting all the right guys in the band, you know,
Absolutely.
because I don't want to just be the main writer. You know, I got the right guys for the right, for a reason. I want them all to have skin in the game. I want them all to feel like this is their band. They're not just like coming along for the Mickey Ratt show. You know what I mean? This is our band, four brothers that are going to put it all out there. You know what I mean? And we're going to like get down to the grind in our little secret lair here behind me. And we are just going to do some work. You know what I mean? And we're going to hurt each other's feelings and we're going to do all that kind of crap. But at the end of the day, man, the product that we put out is going to be freaking amazing, you know? And so I got the right guys, right? So after the other drummer, we got Phil Wax in the band. Phil Wax is drummer in the area. He's toured, he's played on albums. He's been with like a lot of different guys. And when I was first putting the band together, I floated it out to Phil, but he was in the middle of like 6 different projects and he couldn't really do it at the time, you know? And when the time came that all of a sudden we were looking for a drummer again, he jumped on it so fast. He was like, man, I wanted to be in that project so bad back then. And I sent him 2 or 3 songs. It was like 2 days later, he's like, I'm ready to audition. Let's do it. So he came over, and that was right at the beginning of the shutdown of COVID, March of last year, right? March it was, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Came into my pretty decent sized garage, and I insulated it, I drywalled it. We got a full light system, full sound system, like rock wool sound baffles on the wall. We like just did this place up and we got right down to work. He came in, nailed the part, and we just started going to town. Like while everybody else was shut down and doing nothing, we were like, we're working. And that's when we got real busy. And to round up the lineup right now, we have our new bass player, Dave Wood. He's been in a couple local bands in the area, and Steve is big shoes to fill. You know, our old bass player is big shoes to fill. Great backing vocals, great bass, and Dave really did his homework, man. He came in here prepared, and he was tight and he was dead on. So you know, we're razzing him along real well, and he's he's becoming one of the brothers of this band. You know, and we really love him. And he's tightening us up, and it's good, man. It's good stuff.
Now, how about the name? Where did that come from?
As We Become Ghosts. As We Become Ghosts is a powerful statement, right? Everything that I do or create, a song, an image, whatever it is, I want it to be powerful, right? So As We Become Ghosts, actually, the very first idea that As We Become Ghosts was, I was in this relationship that was like on and off. You know, we were together for years, and then like we were apart for a year, and then one of us got lonely and texted the other one, and then we were sitting at a restaurant while the candles are burning down, you know, taking a trip down memory lane, and back in it again, you know, and so on and so forth, right? And then like after so long, it's just like, you know, somebody feels like, you know, you're going to be with forever or whatever, you know, is like a perfect ghost to you. It's a perfect stranger. Mm-hmm. Kind of a roundabout way to get to that. That's where the first thought process came. But As We Become Ghosts can really mean anything, you know, how we're divided as a nation politically, which I'll never get into with anybody. How, the drug epidemic, you know what I mean? The heroin epidemic and the fentanyl, and like how we're just dying, you know, like it means anything as we become ghosts, you know what I mean? What we stand for, what we've always been, you know, just us growing older, man. And like, you know, that's where some of these songs Trapped in the Echoes comes from, you know? So that's kind of what As We Become Ghosts. I wanted it to be, and everything that I try to create and that we create together as a band, I want to be generic enough that like everybody can get their own meaning or what they feel it means, right?
Right.
So like we have songs that like I wrote for certain reasons, lyric wise, and it means a certain something, but I don't mention things in the song so like people can get like, let's just say The Run. Our latest song. It's our latest track out. That's actually written about somebody that goes into recovery, right, from a drug addiction and finds a new and better way to live, right? And they've been going around to meetings for a while, and then all of a sudden, like one day he just doesn't show up anymore. And somebody at the meeting is like, "Hey man, whatever happened to Jim? Where's Jim been?" And it's like, "Oh, he's out on a run, man," And like he decided to go back for one more. And it's his struggle and him talking to God because he can't make it back, you know? And his gift of desperation is enough, man. He needs God's help, even though he's asked him before. He's been there before, but he needs his help again, And a run could last a day, a week, a month, a year, or forever, And that's what the song is written about. But I don't mention anything about drugs or alcohol in that song,
Right.
It could be depression, it could be anxiety, it could be like whatever your fear is that you're running from or running to. The words are, we want to attract the largest spectrum of listeners. We do not try to put ourselves in a box or going back to even like, I used to write for what I thought people wanted to hear in this genre. Now I just write whatever I feel. And every song is kind of like fits in our box, but it's different, Something like, wow, this is real 80s. Wow, this feels real 70s. Wow, this feels like new wave. Wow, this feels like, but they all fit in the same category, in this band.
That's awesome. Yeah, how about you mentioned too, there was a couple songs on Spotify. Were they the band recorded, or was that stuff that you just did yourself, or?
No, I had all my stuff on Reverb Nation. It's still there, and I'm about to like get rid of it because I don't want people like going there.
Right.
Take that for archive stuff, you know what I mean? But the stuff that is on Spotify, there's 3 tracks out there right now. There's Trapped in the Echoes, Overcome, and The Run. They're all on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, all your regular like streaming stuff. If it's playing on the radio somewhere or something, you can hit Shazam and it like brings us up and tells it where to find it, which is cool.
Now, how many times have you done that?
10, 15. But each time I pretend it was like the first time. I'm like, hey man, I wonder if you hit a Shazam on your phone, like this will come up. Like they're like, hey, holy crap, it does. I'm like, whoa, that's cool, But yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So now, and you mentioned this already too. I get to be like one of those privileged people. Like people send me early advance music all the time, and you're one of those people. You sent me early advance, The Run and a bunch of other songs,
right?
And you're going to send me this song with the piano, which I'm dying to hear.
Yeah.
Now, what is the plan? Because you did send me, it was like 5 or 6 songs. What is the plan? Is it going to be like an EP release? You're going to keep doing singles, or the rest of one shot?
Okay, so this is one of my biggest pet peeves, right? About like social media, band pages and bands, and they're trying to advertise and do all this stuff, right? Especially when they don't really have anything going on, right? Us, for the longest time, didn't really have anything going on because it was building this project, right? So I was very weary about posting all the time, like, as we become ghosts, coming soon, because after about 6 months of that, people will see it and they don't even want to read what it says because they're over it, So if you're going to be advertising something, it should be that you have a song coming out, you have a gig, there's a contest there. It has to be something, right? So we're trickling it all out until finally the 6-song EP is ready, right? The EP is going to be ready in about a month.
Okay.
The 6 songs. But we just released one. Now, we teased that with a 40-second clip of the lyric video that we released on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We teased that saying, coming in 2 weeks, right? Save the date. That's when we're dropping the song, on the 26th. And we teased it. And we had like a crazy amount. It was like 15.5 thousand views.
Wow.
On the teaser, right? And a lot of full playthroughs. And a lot of people went and they hit our band page and signed up. They went to Spotify and saved the date and so on and so forth. The video has been out a week. We dropped it on the 26th, and we have, I think it's like 13,160 views.
Wow.
Full-length video.
That's amazing.
And we have like almost 100 subscribers that we didn't have before that video dropped.
Dude, that's
so
awesome.
We have 165 thumbs ups and we got one thumb down, you know, and, you know, on the YouTube thing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny. I think that same guy who gave us the thumb down, he went on our fan page or something. And he was just like, I think I'm just too old, but I don't like it. You can do better. But I was like, I don't know how to take that. You know what I mean? And one of the guys at the band said, hey, man, should we delete any of the negative comments? I said, hell no, man.
No, yeah.
Like, you know, not everybody's going to like this, and that's okay. Especially somebody who's old and doesn't listen to rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm like, well, tell me what you listen to, and I'll see what I can do. You know, I mean, not that I engaged back with them, but it's pretty funny. I like negative comments as well. You know what I mean? And
you know what? Like,
I don't ever battle with people.
I don't like the negative comments, but I learned to appreciate and kind of, because whether it's positive or negative, for in a social media algorithm standpoint, you want comments, good or bad.
Yeah.
But I've also come to learn, if people like you, that's a beautiful thing. But if people hate you, it's an even fucking better thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be. It could be. They do say like there's no such thing as bad press, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've seen that over the years, but yeah.
So I also saw. So you guys have I guess next show's coming up on the 17th at one of my old stomping grounds back when I lived in the area. Good old Bar 13.
Yeah, man.
Matt and the crew over there. I love that place.
Dude, that guy's been doing great stuff, not only for rock and roll, man, but for all genres of music.
Absolutely.
And also comedians and karaoke and crazy goth nights with like poles and leather and ball gags. And he does some crazy shit there, man. And I love Matt. He's a good dude. And like,
he is.
You know, he's one of the very few people in the area that has a club that like is kind of keeping a scene going. And there's a slew of people who are like promoting shows and trying to work together to build a scene again. You know what I mean? And I have a very small list of names. I got Michael Albique. He books for Bar 13 a lot.
He's awesome. Love that dude.
Magnetar Productions, right?
Yep.
You got Leanne McNamee. She has Soul Shine Entertainment. She's booked a lot of shows for us over this past summer and into this year. Bradley Entertainment. I mean,
Brad's awesome.
Dude. I'm supposed to actually call him as soon as I get off this interview to talk to him about a couple things. Will Mass, he's down in Maryland.
Great dude.
Doing a lot of really cool. He has some shows called Fuck Your Rules shows going on right now. You got
it's funny. Like he keeps telling me, he like keeps inviting me to the shows. I'm like, dude, I'm in Nashville. He's like, I don't give a fuck. You're coming. I know you're going to come here eventually,
man. So Will Mass, you know, he just started a Rock Metal Records, and he's doing some kind of cool stuff with that. Not your typical what you would think would be a record company kind of thing. So check into him and check out what's going on there. So anyways, let me just backtrack before we talk about the show, because you were talking about what we're trying to do, right? And so we just dropped a run. We teased that for a while. That's picked up a lot of steam, right? So then what we're doing right now is we're shooting a video for our song called Firefly, right?
Okay.
A live performance video instead of a lyric video. We'll edit it up. We'll tease that for a couple weeks, and then we'll drop that, right? And then we'll start another something promotion for like maybe that piano song, you know, it's called This Moment. Then we'll work something out for this moment. So what we want to do is we want to have a constant trickle of music dropping every month and a half, you know, to keep things moving along and keep things interested, right? We don't really want to drop anything more finalized than a 6-song EP, because I feel anything over that, you know, like when you're getting into an album that has 9 to 12 songs or something, you know, full length like that, like we want to make sure every song we drop is our number one single, right? We don't want B-sides. So we're going to drop one side of an album and let you listen, right? And it also keeps your attention span for about a half hour to 40 minutes, as opposed, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to, you know, going into 45 minutes to an hour or something like that worth of music, right? Maybe my numbers are a little off there. We want to keep people's attention. We want to give them good stuff, something that they'll pop in every once in a while and really listen to, keep on their playlist, so on and so forth. So that's what the game plan is. So between our recording schedule, video shoots, rehearsals, all the other stuff that we're trying to get together for, you know, putting on a good show, and the shows we have coming up, we have a very, very full schedule, you know.
Nice.
So that leading into the April 17th show at Bar 13, there's going to be 5 bands at that show, and it's going to be an amazing show. There's a band called Ghost of the Mill.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Yep. I've heard a couple songs by them. I'll
tell you what, they sent me Joey sent me their latest song, and I was like, holy shit, dude. This is freaking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool, right? So we got them. We have Zenora. And have you talked to Zenora yet?
Mm.
You got to check out Zenora. These guys, they're really dear friends of ours. We work together well. We're trying to, like, maybe when things really open up, put together like a small tour, and us two, maybe one other band. These guys are young. Their freaking numbers are through the roof of views. These guys are rock and roll, man. Riffy rock and roll. And you got to check them out. Their name is Zenora. So I'm going to hit Dylan Graff up, the lead singer, and I'm going to shoot him your information so he can get
okay.
Okay, Zenora's going to be there. Whiskey Grin. You know Whiskey
Grin?
Of
course. Absolutely.
Love all them dudes very, very much, man. Got Dream, Jim Mayberry, and John Tidwell, right?
Man, I remember Dream from back in the day at the Empire.
Yeah,
that dude's a legend.
Yeah, of course, man. We know him by another name, but we're not gonna drop that in case he doesn't want anybody to know. But yeah, Dream's an amazing dude, man. It was just his birthday the other day. Whiskey Grin, we've always loved playing with those guys. I tattoo all those dudes. I'm doing a big sleeve on John right now. And then there's going to be As We Become Ghosts. We're going to come in, do your easy listening section of the evening. And then Roxy Blue. Brad Lee is managing those guys at the moment.
Okay.
And Roxy Blue, I believe, are from Nashville. I believe.
Oh, okay.
Don't quote me on that.
You know what? You might be right, because
we're getting wrong.
They were just announced for the Rockin' Pod convention in August down here. So yeah, they might be from down here.
About that too.
Yeah.
They're doing like a three gig kind of show. They're going to be playing up in AC at the Bourget.
Okay.
15th, or I'm sorry, the 16th. They're going to be playing at Bar 13 on the 17th, and then they're going to be playing down in Maryland at a show that Brad Lee's putting on down there.
Okay.
Anyways, so they're doing 3 days. I can't remember the exact name of that place, and that's probably something I should know right about now. But Roxy Blue, they're really kick-ass, man. You got to check these guys out. Real 80s sound. They've been around for a while, and I think they just put out their last album maybe 2019.
Okay.
They got some really good tunes, man. And they're packed with like a star lineup of some real good pros, man. So
nice.
Check into them too. So yeah, that's that gig. Then we have what is it? May 15th at the Bourget in Atlantic City. That's going to be Shades of Grey opening up the show.
Okay.
And then we're going to be going on, and then Rat Rod. Will Mass manages Rat.
I started to manage them, and then my that's when I started going through a divorce, and I was moving to Nashville, and
yeah. So, and I've known Mike Smith and those guys for years and years.
Love those guys.
Years I've known Mike, and they're good dudes, and they put on a great show. So that's going to be a really fun night. You know what I mean? We have a slew of gigs, lined up after that. We have about probably another 4 or 5 gigs after that are already lined up. But we're trying not to like oversaturate an area or over, burn ourselves out.
Yeah.
Like if we have this whole schedule of like recording, rehearsing, video shooting, like writing new material, like all the stuff that like a band does. And we feel like we want to do quality shows. We don't want to play 8 bars or 8 places in a month and try to drag 50 or 60 people to every one of those shows.
Right.
If we have one good show in AC, right, and then we, a month later we have a good show in Delaware, and then we have one in Maryland, or then we have one in PA somewhere. We can get the crowds to come to those. Instead of like bothering all of our buddies. Hey man, you coming out? It's like, dude, I just seen you 2 times in the last like 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, I got a life. But
now the show coming up on the 17th, is this the first show since the pandemic, or have you guys done any shows? Or
man, we played right through that pandemic, man.
Okay.
So,
there was no pandemic.
Right. See, here's the thing. We got together and with Phil and got busy right when the shutdown happened. A week after the shutdown happened, we were in this garage rehearsing 3 times a week for like 3 or 4 hours a night. And then when we first came out, it was over the summertime. There was like a local bar in the area called Time Out.
Yeah.
And they were having like an open mic night or whatever. And what they like to do is they like to bring a band and like make them the feature band and let them play like a half hour, 40 minutes or something like that. So we like even brought all of our own equipment, stuff like that. And we set up and we just blew the roof off this place. And they were just like, where the hell these guys come from? And we like, like we just came out of nowhere, but we were here working our butts off to go do that. And then we started getting a slew of shows, man, over the summertime. There was a lot of outside shows that happened at places. Okay. Even played Tom and Jerry's over here, over Philadelphia.
Oh, that place. Yeah, I know. I used to live 10 minutes from there.
Yeah, and they don't do a lot of like original bands, you know what I mean? But like Ann McNamee got them to do like a show, and almost a couple hundred people showed up to that. Dustin nice. Whitaker in, and it was a killer time, man. And like, but we played all summer long, man. It was like we played more gigs than anybody we knew.
Wow, that's freaking
but
awesome.
Now we're sinking back a little bit and like dropping back and punting and getting ready for like the Super Bowl. We're getting ready to like come out really strong. Like I said, a lot of these guys, Bradley, Will Mass, Leanne, Michael, they're putting on these things, and they're Bradley is putting some things together right now that you may be interested in. Like all these like shows going on down in Maryland. So is Will, and
Brad has put on killer quality shows for years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like big festivals and stuff. Mm-hmm. We want to be known as like an act that can be like brought upon, or called upon to to play these kind of shows. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We want to be in that loop. We want to be on that roster. Right. When things really fully blow open again. Open wide. So.
Well, that's going to happen soon.
No, I hope so.
And I know you guys are ready.
Yeah, I think so.
So, all right. So 17th, Bar 13, Delaware. Everybody can go see you guys live. The Run, the single is out there now. It's on Spotify. Lyric videos on YouTube.
Yeah, go check that out on YouTube, man. And make sure you hit the freaking subscribe button, people, because we have more content coming every month to month and a half.
And that goes not just for YouTube. Hit subscribe on YouTube. Hit subscribe on Spotify. Hit a follow and like on Facebook and Instagram. Do it all.
Yeah. Listen, man, we're looking for friends and fans. We're not looking for numbers. There's people out there. There's so many people out there that are like that know how to scam the industry now, right? Like there's ads all over my Facebook all day long about like get 50,000 organic streams on Spotify for only $49.95, or buy a package of $200 to get. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure they're organic. You know what I mean? Like it's a bunch of bots like playing your shit. We don't want numbers just to have numbers. Right. We want people to listen to the stuff, to like the stuff, to champion the stuff, and to share the stuff with their friends. You know what I mean? We want them to. We're looking for friends, man. We're looking to be like interactive and engage with our fans. We're you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking for, man. We're not just looking for numbers just to have numbers, because that nobody, you know.
Exactly. The numbers that they can come, but they'll go just as quick. You want those friends and fans to stay forever.
That's right. And we're building them one person at a time.
That's it.
Man,
It's the way to do it. Cool. So where's the number one place that we should send everybody to?
The number one place, just to check us out, or you mean gig wise?
How about both?
Well, you can hit up. You can go to Facebook. We have a fan page and we have a regular band page. We would like everybody to go there and subscribe and like us. Definitely go to YouTube and check out that video. It's a very cool lyric video our guitar player put together, and I think people really dig that song. And don't just stop there. You go to Spotify, listen to the other two songs, or we're on YouTube Music as well. Listen to those and see how all three songs are kind of like a little bit different, but they're like really cool all together, you know, and all fit in the same thing. And definitely come out to both of these shows. You know what I mean? Whatever one suits you better. You know, come out, check us out, and see what we're doing live. That's where the rubber meets the road, man. You know what I mean? Make a slick song in the studio, but go see them live. You know?
Absolutely.
There was a lot of bands, man, that I wasn't even big fans of. And then I went to see live and I was like, holy shit, these guys won me right over.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah, go check people out. Get out on the scene, man. Go not even just us, man. You know, go out and see bands. Go out. These guys put hours and hours and years of their lives into what they're doing. Just go out and watch them for a half hour, man. It's not much to ask, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, after this past year, we've all gone through this craziness of a pandemic that, look, whoever thought this would really, truly ever happen to any of us in our time.
Yeah,
and, you know, each day is truly a blessing. We got to live it to the fullest. We got to enjoy life. We got to listen to good fucking music like these guys, Mickey and the boys over there, as we become Ghost, and people like Rat Rod and all these other bands that are homegrown in our areas, in our little towns, that are playing our scenes. There's a whole scene going on, and not many people know or realize this yet, which blows my mind. Hello, it's 2021.
right.
But get off the freaking couch, get out of your house, breathe the fresh air, drink a whiskey, drink a glass of wine, and enjoy some good freaking music and live your life.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, brother. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, Linda.
Hey, man, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Listen, when I started this project a few years back, I was literally recording all the stuff in her spare room. I had all my equipment all in there, and she's been my biggest supporter. The song Firefly is actually written about her. Me and Alex co-wrote that song, and the lyrics are about my Firefly. That's what I call her. So I just want to shout out because she's been my muse and my biggest supporter, and pushing me to do this, where, you know, other people that I've been with in relationships in the past didn't really want it to happen. You know, she's my biggest supporter. She really, really is my biggest pusher of this stuff. Get out to the garage and go do that. You know what I mean? What are you doing in here? Don't you have things to do? You know? So I just want to give her a shout out too, man.
That's awesome.
At it. Because that's the next song we're actually releasing is Firefly.
Cheers to her. And I'll tell you what, when you sent me those tunes, I said to myself, The Run and Firefly are the two top singles.
Yeah. Did you hear the other two that are on Spotify? You've heard those before, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those are pretty good too. But and I feel that way too. And every band is the same way. They're every new song they write is their new top one single. You know, it's this is the best I ever wrote, you know? I'm really excited for you to hear these next two, man, that we got in the cooker right now, because holy crap, man. The one is just gigantic. It's going to crush. They're both.
Send me the piano song. I'm dying to freaking hear it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you later on tonight as soon as we get off.
Sweet.
All right,
dude, this was freaking amazing. Glad to finally talk to you instead of sending messages.
Yo, thanks for having me, man. It was a real honor.
Hey, man, it was a lot of fun. And, you know, kill it on the 17th and keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely, brother.
And everybody tuning in, thank you for supporting Mickey and the boys, and thank you for supporting us, and thank you for supporting the scene.
Absolutely, brother.
Hey, man. Take care. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in.
Peace out. Crank it up.